got a receiver in to look at. This one's a Yamaha. It's a RXN600. And the complaint on this is lights on, no one home. There's no sound. These units did have some DSP problems. I'm curious as to whether that may be the problem on this one. So let's tear into it and see what the problem is. Got a Yamaha receiver, and this is the RXN600. Complaint on this one's no sound. I don't know if we're going to be able to figure this one out or not because it's one of these cinema DSP units, and some of these ones, the DSPs, have been known to fail. But let's plug it in and see what it does. All right, now normally I don't take in this type of equipment. I don't work on home theater equipment, multi-channel stuff, and that's for, there's a couple reasons, but one, it's just so bloody hard to service because of all the boards I've got stacked. To do any testing, you got to disconnect stuff. And once you do that, you can't power it up. So it makes them tough to work on. I got the unit turned on here. And I heard a click. So what is going on? Maybe it's operator error. It's always a possibility. Operator, let's see, speakers. I don't hear any sound. I'm on the tuner now. I'll try it with an external input. I do hear the speaker relay clicking in. So with speaker A, speaker B. With speaker A, if I turn it off, you'll hear it turn off and back on. I think the first thing we'll do is we'll try to do a reset on this unit, but I bet it's the DSP. I had one of these not that long ago that the DSP was problematic on. I don't even know how this one got in the door, to tell you the truth. I guess I didn't ask the right questions when the fellow contacted me. I said, is this I think I asked him, I said, is this a home theater? And he goes, I use it as a stereo. Well, I use it as a stereo does not answer the question, is this a home theater amplifier? A home theater amplifier is something that has audio video inputs, multi-channel sound, and all this crap, DSPs and all this other bullshit. A stereo is 2 channels that you can actually work on. Stuff like this gets really complex because you can't really test anything. And this is an older receiver, so it doesn't really have any value. As you can see, it does not have any HDMI inputs. It doesn't even, it has component inputs and optical and coaxial digital inputs, XM module. Doesn't look like he's used really much on this thing because all the dust on the inputs here. But no HDMI, so it's not compatible with the newer cable boxes and stuff. I guess you could hook it up through optical, but that's about it. It's nothing fancy. I'm going to try to factory reset this thing with the AI overview from Google, which is probably not right, but it says turn the receiver off, then hold the straight button and press power button simultaneously. So straight, and that should enter the advanced mode, which it doesn't. Okay, from the owner's manual, turn the master off. It says press and hold the straight effect button on the front panel and turn the master on. To turn the unit on, the unit will turn on and the advanced setup menu will display. So straight, master. Okay, go into the speaker impedance mode here. It says rotate the program dial on the front to select preset. Okay. And it says press the effect button and I'll say reset. Press the master on off on the power to power the unit off and confirm your selection. Well, press the master on off to release it to the off position to confirm your selection and turn the unit off. So I turn it off. That's the 5th step. I'm pretty sure it's a DSP problem. I've plugged the preamp outputs into my other amplifier. As you can hear, the preamp output's working. That's just off the radio tuner. I select the CD input from my MP3 player. You can hear that that's working. So the tuner's working, the amplifier's not. It's not going into protection, but there's no sound out the speakers, but it's not going into protection. Take a look at this under the infrared camera, and I haven't got it powered up now, I just powered it off, it's cooling down. Let's see if there's anything that's heating up quickly on this DSP board. So let's turn it on. And is it on? It's on now. And we'll start to see components heating up. There's one component right here that's getting pretty warm. This one right here, that's a regulator, it looks like. There's that one right there, that's a regulator, it's heating up. DSP chip is back here, it's cold. Like it's not getting any power. We have a short on here, because I see these regulators are starting to really show heat. Let's just check and see if there's any voltage on them. Beauty of one of these thermal cameras is that it lets you really get an idea of what's going on if there's a short or something. So let's get the meter. This regulator here that's getting warm is got, what do we got? Got 5 volts on the input. And one of these pins is going to be ground. Is that the input or is that ground? That's ground. And here's the output, 0.1. That's looking a little bit low. Maybe there's something shorting on the outside from that. Goes into this capacitor here. Let's power it off and look to see if there's any shorts. Take a look at that between ground and the that's the ground side, and this is going to be the output terminal, and we're seeing 0.5 ohms. Got a short. We have a short here somewhere. Somewhere there's a short. Maybe that's what's keeping this thing down. Is it a cap that's gone bad? There's always a possibility that a cap has failed on here. Well, we can clip that cap off and see whether it's shorted. We'll just clip the leg off on this. This one's going right to this regulator. If we can get in there. Just a little 100 microfarad. Is this cap got a short? It doesn't. But there is a short on that leg. Now it could be inside the DSP, but that leg has got a short on it. I would imagine this is probably like a 3-volt supply or somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure it's our DSP that's bad on here. Let's just watch the DSP when I power this thing up. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's getting warm. She's getting warm. Our DSP is foobar. So I reconnected the cap that I disconnected for testing, and my voltage seems to have come back on that leg. That might be why. The DSP had a short in it. Let's check the voltage again here on pin number, whatever this is, pin number 3. Bring the camera back out a bit here, and I'll also bring on the, I'll put on the infrared at the same time. We can see this. Okay, so can we see this all at once? Probably not. I need 3 hands here. But if I put my meter on, well, we'll show the chip. So if I power it up, there you can see that DSP is getting warm, showing up right away. Also, when I look at the voltage here, I had 0.5 volt before. I've now got 3.1, so the regulator's working. Whatever was shorted has gone away, but that short is inside that DSP, because that DSP is getting warm now. My voltage is there, 3.1 volts. Yeah, it's going to be the DSP. That's the power supply for the DSP. As you can see, the DSP is... Why is it going to shut down? Well, probably because the battery's dead. I gotta charge this thing up. Yeah, I'm gonna call this DSP is bad. I mean, you can feel the warmth. Oh, that's hot. Yeah, that DSP is cooked. Like it's really warm. Warm to the touch. So what happened on here is something shorter than the DSP. It was pulling the regulator down to like 0.5 volt, but for whatever reason, when I disconnected the cap here to measure the cap, and as I was monitoring it, all of a sudden the voltage went up, and then I noticed heat. I was noticing heat on the regulator because it was being loaded down by the DSP, and then the DSP, I guess, the short went away, and now the DSP is getting warm. And the cap wasn't shorted, so it wasn't in the cap. The DSP is bad. Okay, anyway, that's as far as I'm going to go on this. The fellow that owns it just wanted to know that. I kind of set him up, said, you know, this is DSP. And the DSPs on these are known to fail. And that is exactly what's happened on here, because this thing should not be getting hot. And our inputs are fine, because we can get the output out, the preamp output on here. I can feed it into the tuner, feeding into my amplifier from here. So we know that the front end works. I'm sure that the speakers and the amplifier works as well, because it's not going into protection. It's just that nothing's getting through here. And unfortunately, with these units, everything goes through the DSP. So if the DSP goes bad, you get no sound. And this is one of these, you know, I mean, it's a Texas Instruments chip. And we all know how reliable these were, because Onkyo had a whole bunch of receivers that the DSPs failed on. It's not the same DSP as this. The Onkyo one was BGA. This one here is a conventional flat pack, but this thing's getting hot, and it shouldn't be getting hot. When it's getting hot like that, that's an indication that something internal has gone bad. So I'm going to end this one now and condemn this unit, give the guy a call, let him know that his old receiver is not economical to repair. Now, even though I didn't make any money on this specific unit, the fellow that owns it told me to throw it out. He said I can send it off to recycle. And I'm just thinking maybe I can get some parts out of here that might be worth keeping. It's probably more work than it's worth. It's full of output transistors, which would be nice to get out of here, but the problem is I gotta pull the board and everything out I gotta pull the top board. I gotta pull all this crap off. I gotta pull the back off. Lift the boards out just to be able to pull the transistors. But I think since quality transistors are hard to find these days, and these ones are not blown, I think it's probably worth my while to grab the transistors. The fellow that owns it's already replaced it. He found a similar receiver, newer, on Marketplace for 50 bucks. So, you know, that shows you where his heart was on repairing this one. He didn't want to spend any money, even if that DSP was available and at a reasonable cost. It would have probably still been more than he was wanting to spend. So as I told him the DSP is gone, he says, well, he says, you want me to pick it up or you want to dump it? And I said, hey, I can dump it. So, of course, I don't make any money on these other than from the ad revenue from you guys watching. So hopefully it'll make an interesting teardown as I rip this thing all apart, take the back off of it and remove the boards, take the transistors out, maybe also grab, I could probably grab these binding posts too. Grab anything that I think could probably be reused. If the binding posts are easy to get, I'll take them out as well. And then send the rest of it off. Screws are all out. Does the back lift off, or if I missed some? I have a feeling the back should lift off. There we go. Get that out of the way. Now, I can lift these other boards out of the way. Get that tuner out of there. Power cord here. Probably keep the power cord. It's always good to have power cords. And that'll just pull out just like that. So I can keep the power cord. I can't see anything. Wrong strength. Too strong. I don't normally wear glasses, right? I use some cheaters for close-up electronic work, but I've got two different strengths of them here. One for real close-up stuff, and the other for everything else. The problem with the real close-up, which are, I think they're a +2.5 or a +3. I normally use like a +1 for this stuff. And the other ones are just they're just too strong. I can't see anything. Everything's blurry after it's born a couple feet away. This is why Yamaha receivers are hated to be worked on, by the way. Like all the modern crap, right? To do anything, you got to pull all these other boards out of the way. Everything's all interconnected. And once you start disconnecting interconnects, you can't test anything. Look at all the boards here. So, there's some more boards down here. I mean, this is just, people hate them for this reason. You got to get in here to do any work, and it's a huge job. This is why most shops will not even consider working on these receivers, because the amount of time taken to take them apart, to do anything and put them back together, you're into 150, 200 bucks in time, and people will throw them away for that. Especially something this old, because it doesn't have HDMI or anything. Power transformer is a good one to keep. Probably keep this power board here, pull these caps out here, I'm sure they're okay. Maybe keep these caps and the outputs. First I'll grab the transformer. Because big audio transformers are always handy to have, whether I need it for an amplifier or, for another project that I'll probably never use, but I've used them before though. I took one from a unit that was dead. I took out of, I think it was a Technics unit, and I used it on that Onkyo Insignia that I had, that had the 240 volt transformer. So I swapped that out and put a 120 in and made a good amplifier that now runs on 120 instead of requiring a 240. As long as the output voltages are the same, you can do that. Okay, this should lift out, which it does. And I think I've got it. Oh, one more plug. There we go. Okay, one more plug. There. I now have a Bando transformer made for Yamaha. Keep the standby board as well, because it's going to have a good relay. It's going to have a good low voltage standby transformer. So that's a good one to keep. The rest of these boards, no. But I'm going to pull the main board and get the output transistors off of that. And I think that's probably, maybe grab the rectifier, maybe the relays too. Okay, there's a few parts in here that certainly could be usable. Now this should lift up. Alright, what's holding it? Another screw right in the middle of the board. A grounding screw. Yeah, it wasn't loose, but those are the type that have the tendency to come loose and cause shutdowns of things. But it wasn't loose. But what a place to put it under all the other boards, so that you can't even see it until you rip everything apart. Alright. It should be relatively easy to remove these transistors. 12 transistors, excellent. 12 outputs, and I say maybe these might be worth keeping as well. So I'm just going to remove all the transistors, unsolder them, pull the board off, and then unscrew them all, sort them. They're all going to be the same. There'll be 6 PNP and 6 NPN. I'll take out the dual resistors as well. These are the emitter follower resistors. I hate unleaded solder. This stuff's crap. End up putting regular solder on there just so that you can heat it up. Right? And pull that down and then grab this other side. Dual resistor. So getting the parts that I want to keep, and then the rest of the stuff is just going to go and throw it back together, sort of. And then up to the recycling center it's going to go. Another resistor, this is a 0.22 ohms. Extra points if someone can identify the song that's playing on the radio behind me right now. I haven't heard this one in years. Why did I do that? I just stuck my finger on the iron. Okay, got the emitter follower resistors out. I'll finish taking out the transistors, and I'm going to keep the heat sinks as well, or the insulators as well, obviously, because they're good to have. Oh, these might not. Yeah, these are stuck down. They're tearing in half, so I'm not going to bother with them. I will take these big filter caps, put some solder on there to grab them, heat them up. One. Do the same for the other one. I might grab these other craps as well, just for the hell of it, just because it's always good to have big caps, and if you're gutting something, you might as well steal all the parts that you can, right? Sacrificial solder to make the parts come out easy. This looks like a regulator. This one's got 4 terminals on it, looks like. The other, these are all regulators. Well, not all of them, but there are some regulators. That's good, because these 4-terminal regulators are good to have. They're always good to have these 4-terminal regulators. I might have some stuff right now that needs them. They're switching regulators, what they are. Some of these ones look like the connections aren't even that good on them. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got some, what are the numbers on these here? Let's see what we got. Okay, what did we get? We got a 2388.05. This one here is also a probably 2388. Yep, another one. Maybe a JRC. Is that MC009C? That's another number that's on there, or is that the date code? Another 2388. 79M05. 2388. 79M12. So that's a 5-volt regular. That's a 12. That's a 5. This is a switchable one. What else do we have here? We have another 7812. And another 7805. Another 2388. And another 2388. So a bunch of regulators. Well, they might come in handy. I'm going to throw those into my regulator bin right now. We grab the relays, because relays are always good to have. So we'll pop the relays out and keep them. I think I've got pretty much everything off of here that I think I'll need. I'm not going to bother with the speaker terminals. Nah, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm not going to need anything like that. But I did pull, I'd maybe grab these full wave rectifiers. Got most of them. Grab the emitter followers. What do we got over here? A couple more transistors. But I think I might just grab these, and then I'm going to toss this out, throw it together, and send it to recycling. Because I've got more off of here than I'll probably ever need. But it's nice to have free parts when you can. So whenever I can get a chance to scrap something, I try to keep the parts that I think I might be able to use down the road. I'm going to have to remove that screw. Take this. I'll take the heatsink separately, but remove the rectifier first. Make it a little easier to remove. There we go. Get that one. Maybe grab this little heat sink if I can, and I think that'll pretty much do it for this. You can see why these things are hated. Absolutely hated to work on. But we'll throw this thing back together, sort of, and get it the hell out of here. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do on this one. Throw the top on this, throw the back on it so that it kind of looks like it's sorted together, and then off to recycling it goes. Got some good parts out of here that I'm sure I can make use of. The relays are good to have. Oh, these are, looks like the coils are 24 volts on these. Yeah, 12 volt ones would probably be more useful, but beggars can't be choosers. They're all 24 volt coil. Yep, they're all 24 volt coil. Anyway, beggars can't be choosers. I'm sure I'll find a use for them. Otherwise, they will go as well. Thanks for watching.